So I wanted to just introduce our first speaker today, who is Lucy Gilliam, and she is going to talk to you about how to lead and structure an inspired life. So Lucy, please.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really, really impressed. The attention to detail in producing this event is really quite exceptional. And as an environmentalist and a food activist, I just think it's great. And how inspiring was Christine's talk just then? Absolutely incredible. So many things I was going to say as well. So, so again, uproot the status quo. That's very inspiring talk to start off with, and we do absolutely need to seed a revolution, and it's a great challenge to open a meeting. A little bit about myself first. Who am I? I'm an environmental scientist and a food activist. Like Christine, I grew up in the countryside, surrounded by fields and on a small holding, so I was very passionate about food from a young age and about animal welfare and where it comes from. And this has really shaped my entire career, really. Exploring where our food comes from and its impact on the environment have been really dear to me and led me down a path of studying environmental science and then biology at university, which led me to study for a PhD. And I got very interested in the role of plant genomics and the impact that they would have on the environment, and studied the impact of growing GM potatoes on soil systems, which led me to really understand the importance of soil and biogeochemical cycling to our food systems. After that, I carried on studying soil systems and looking at the impact that agricultural management has on greenhouse gas emissions from soil, in particular looking at nitrous oxide emissions, which is the third most important greenhouse gas in our atmosphere and contributing significantly to the greenhouse gas budget. I then went on to work in government policy, looking at how science feeds into policy, before leaving for a very alternative career. I'm now a sailor and a scientist and a storyteller, and I'm just about to embark on my second voyage, retracing the Atlantic trade routes, trading rum, chocolate, and spices. So by all means, come and ask me about that in the bar later. Happy to talk. Finally, I've just been on possibly one of the most eye-opening and extraordinary adventures of my life this summer, where I've been for 3 months teaching at Singularity University. So like I said, food and environment, they're both my passions. As Christine outlined to us, we have the challenge of feeding 1 billion that are currently malnourished. We've got 1 billion that are overnourished. We have all the environmental problems associated with our current food system, the waste, plastic pollution, the unsustainable amounts of energy and water that goes into our food production. For every calorie of food that we put in our mouths, it's taken 10 calories of oil to get there. And we know that we're going into rapidly declining oil reserves. So we need a revolution in how we produce our food. But we do have solutions. We know already that we grow enough food to feed 14 billion, but we waste it, or it gets diverted into animal feed. We know that we could redesign our systems. We actually need to relocalize our food, and there's all sorts of incredible solutions that are coming online to do so. We need farmers, we need agronomists, we need climate scientists, water experts, supply chain managers, technologists, innovators, activists, and storytellers to come together and to solve this challenge. On a global stage, there needs to be a much greater awareness. It's really pleasing to learn that the FAO has recently restructured its programs according to food and is placing greater emphasis on quality, on access, on reducing waste in supply chains. The White House has come on board, and they've recently announced a new innovation fund called Ag Results, which is a collective innovation pot that's been negotiated between the US government, Canada, Australia, amongst other countries. And it's placing a greater emphasis on innovations for yield, for decreasing losses, for livestock, for nutrition. The food waste issue has been recognized as a key challenge by UNEP. The challenge to reduce 50% of food wasted annually. It's totally unacceptable that this is happening when 1 billion are malnourished. But it gives me real hope that this is being recognized. And it also gives me a huge amount of hope that people are seeing the links between the types of food we produce and the unsustainability, to learn about alternatives like in vitro meat and the recognition of the health and environmental benefits of actually reducing the meat consumption. So more about this Singularity University. Has anyone here heard of Singularity University in the audience? Okay, well, it's actually not a university, but it's an incredible summer program that takes place in Silicon Valley, and it's the brainchild of Peter Diamandis, a space entrepreneur, and of Ray Kurzweil, a futurist who dreams of uploading his brain. And they came together to found the institute to be able to provide a forum for people to learn about exponential technologies and to apply those technologies to solving global grand challenges. And I went to Silicon Valley this summer to be the Global Grand Challenge Advisor for Food and work with some of the most inspiring people I've ever met in my life. And oh my goodness, were the projects incredible. This is a place where science fiction becomes science fact. And we had people working on 3D designs to make in vitro meat like more rapid and more sustainable. We had people redesigning beehives in order to be able to eradicate problems of colony collapse disorder. We had people inventing new ways of synthesizing DNA to be able to rapidly engineer either new fuels or to be able to improve the rate of kind of biotechnology and genomic analysis of plants. But what was really incredible about this place was the fact that there was so much humanness and warmth. And I'll just read you a quote from one of the participants. She said, "I went to one of the most technological places on Earth to learn about the singularity, only to discover the warmest people, the strongest ideals, and the most noble souls." And that's what makes the place really special, actually, all the way infused through this technological program where you're really thinking about new ideas, new ways of living, actually creating farms on Mars and people sending seeds up into space in order to kind of use epigenetic mechanisms to improve plant yields. Really, this is a place of big ideas, but it's also a place where people are connected to their communities where they've come from, and they want to create solutions that don't just help the top 1 billion, but also create solutions for the bottom billion. And so that gets me on to actually, what is it about having an inspirational career and coming up with innovative ideas? And I think it's about values, really, and it's about principles and realizing that one size does not fit all. This is a time when, monocultures just don't work. I mean, not just in the way that we farm, but in ideas. It's beyond rule making. It's fostering an understanding between people, creating compassion, willingness to act, and building a shared consciousness. And it's about making ideas attractive. To achieve something significant and inspirational, you need help, you need crewmates, you need people that are sailing along with you. You can't do it alone. And you can't pay people enough to give you their hearts to do something or to frighten them into acting. Leaders need to inspire for a great cause. And a key to this is being positive, example-led, being fun, open, humble, all of those things. And most importantly, being unashamedly yourself. Appreciate diversity, because it's diversity that creates resilience in systems. And more than ever, we need to create resilient systems because of all the kinds of shocks in the environment, in society that will come at us. We need to be a resilient community. You need to explore, look around you, be curious, be questioning. There's always something to be found in any place that you are or people that you're meeting. I particularly like to strike up conversations with strangers on public transport, and more often than not, this has led to really quite an extraordinary insight or maybe lead me down a new path. I really like events like unconferences. Has anyone here participated in an unconference format? It's basically a conference where the agenda hasn't been set and it gets created by the participants. And you can literally just go and create the agenda as it goes and create workshops, and everyone feeds in. And this was one of the first activities we did at Singularity University, and it provided an opportunity for us to really kind of get to know what people were passionate about as well as what they were skilled with. And do. There's another thing, just do it. Like, if you've got something you want to do, just try it. Don't wait for all of the conditions to be perfect. Go out there and experiment. Believe in your own power and create from local action. That's really important. It doesn't have to be like global straight away. Actually, most of the most powerful projects have just started by prototyping in your own local environment. An example of this in my own life is participating in something called People's Kitchen, which is a community kitchen where they take waste food, either donated by supermarkets or by local businesses, and people come together on a Sunday to create a meal out of that food, and everyone learns to cook, and by the end of it, you all get to sit down and celebrate together. Ooh. Oh no, what happened there? Sorry about this. Connect. What's really important, I think, is to connect people to a larger story and to create meaning for people. So understand where people are coming from, inspire feeling that we're all part of a significant story and that all of our actions matter. In terms of food, it couldn't be more important. We eat 3 times a day. Our choices of where our food comes from, how it travels to our plate, how it's packaged, and how we dispose of it actually have global significance. If you throw away your food in the wrong bin and it ends up in landfill, then it ends up becoming a big source of methane. If you actually choose something that's packaged in plastic and don't dispose of it appropriately, it can end up washing through our rivers and ending up part of the big plastic jar in our oceans. Like, we all have an immense power to actually choose where our food comes, where things come from, and the impact that they have after. Our food system has evolved to become very hidden. Our impacts have become disconnected. We need to understand that interconnectivity and to understand how that relates to our own health and our global environment. The challenges like biodiversity loss, climate change, energy require this joined-up approach. And it's important to explore those issues, to make it, smell it, taste it, evolve it, share it. And we need to dream big dreams, believe in them. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. We need to paint a more vivid picture to be able to attract people to a better reality and make it concrete for people, to provide solutions that are desirable. The future isn't set in stone. We don't know what's going to happen, but we are the ones that can make it happen. We are the ones that create it. What is that world that we want to live in? What is the food system we want to live in? What are the communities what we want to be part of? We need to start having those conversations really boldly and to share them with people so that we can manifest it through our collective actions. I'm really looking forward to this weekend and for meeting all of you. Let's make some epic shit happen, in the words of Adam Little over there, who's bringing in vitro meat to the world. Thank you very much.